What's up guys, in this video I'm gonna try to make a Sammy Virji inspired bass sound in Serum. This is what I created today. So it's just something really quickly and I want to show you how I did it. So let's jump straight into FL Studio. Let's go. Okay, so we start by loading up Serum. I'm going to quickly show you the MIDI that I'm going to use for this sound. So these are the MIDI files. I have tried to make a little bit of a weird bass pattern where I both play in like this octave up here, but also in this octave down here to create some rhythmic kind of stuff. So we start by going to oscillator A, we go to digital, and we're going to select the FFT at thirds. We're going to set this to random phase to 0, and we're going to set the level all the way up. Next, we're going to go to oscillator B, and we're going to select under analog, we're going to select the basic shapes, and we're going to turn the wavetable position to this so we get this saw wave. Then we're going to turn down the random phase for this one as well, but also turn down the level because we're going to use this oscillator for some frequency modulation in oscillator A. We're going to go to oscillator A, and we're going to go here and select the FM from B, and we're just going to set this to around 30%. So we have something like this. So we get something a little bit more raw. Next, we're going to go to the sub oscillator to get some really nice low end. We're going to go and select the sine wave, turn down the octave to -2, and put the level to 100%. Okay, so the magic for this particular sound is going to go with the filtering. So we're going to go and select a band 12. So a Bandpass frequency filter. And we're going to select this for oscillator A and B, not the sub oscillator. Okay, so one really important detail to this filter settings is that we need to add the filter tracking. So when I play notes higher up, the filter cutoff is going to move to that higher position. So if we'll have a listen now, you see that the filter cutoff is moving, and that's what creates this kind of really cool sound. So we're going to set the cutoff filter to around here. Then we're going to turn up the resonance because we want to have those resonance sounding frequencies to pull through. And we're going to turn up the fat at around 43%. So now we have something like this. Nice. And then I totally forgot that we need to turn oscillator A up by +1 octave, and we need to turn the oscillator B down by -2 octave. That's why it sounds a little bit weird. Now it sounds more correct. That's because we got like that +1 in the octave for oscillator A. So now we're ready to go to the envelope section. So for envelope 1, we're going to go and set an attack at around 20 milliseconds because we want to have a little bit of attack to the sound. Then we're going to leave the decay as is. Going to turn down the sustain to around here. And then we're going to put a little bit more release to around 300 milliseconds. Well, 200 is actually more perfect for me. Then we're going to go to envelope 2. And we're going to set this to around here. And turn down the decay a little bit, add some attack at around 18 milliseconds and a little bit of release. We're going to use this for some envelope modulation later. Okay, so now we're ready to go to the effects. So the first thing we add is a distortion. And we're going to add the downsample. We're going to use the post EQ settings and set it to around here. We're going to set the drive to around 20%. And then we're going to turn down the mix. And now we're going to navigate to envelope 2 and assign that to the mix knob. And then put the amount to around 10% because we just barely want to have that downgrading sound to the bass. And then it's going to be triggered by the envelope. So you can just assign the amount to taste about how much you want like that bit reduction sound to go through. I think around here is nice to me. Next, we're going to add a chorus, put the rate to around here, put delay 1 to around here, and delay 2 is all the way down, put the depth to around here, up with the feed, and put the low pass filter cut all the way up, and then put the mix to around here. Okay, maybe we need to turn the depth down a little bit, and also the feedback. It's gonna be a little bit too crazy. That's really cool. Next, we're gonna add a compressor. And I'm basically just gonna use the default settings, but just putting up a little bit more gain. Just make sure that you're not putting up too much gain. So around 4 dB of gain is fine for me. Next, we're gonna add an EQ just to boost the low end with like 1 dB, and then also boost the high end with a high shelf with around 2 to maybe even 3 dBs, just to get those upper frequencies pushing through. Now the next thing is a filter, and we're just gonna use the MG Low 24 and put the cutoff all the way up. This just to make sure that we don't get too much of some high frequencies that can be generated by this bit reduction effect. So that's basically what I'm gonna do. And again, now we need to add some delay. I want to put this at 1.8, put this to ping pong, and put the feedback down a little bit. And then we need to just have maybe 15% to 20% of width. You can just use this to taste about how much delay effect you want to add to the bass. For me, this is fine around here. And then the last effect that we want to add in Serum is the hyper dimension. We're not going to use the hyper, but we're going to use the dimension. So put the size to around 40% and put the mix to around, let's just try 25%. That's just to get a little bit more like stereo effect going on. So yeah, that's actually it for all of the settings within Serum. So I've routed this bass sound to a mixer track because I want to add the neutron free. Basically what I'm gonna do for an EQ is I'm using like a low shelf just to reduce the really low frequencies at around 20 Hertz. And it's just because there was generated some really low frequencies that maybe can take up too much headroom in the mix. Then I'm gonna go to the exciter and I'm gonna split up the band at around 300 Hertz. And then I'm gonna apply some tape saturation to the upper frequencies of the sound. It's just to bring forth that like energy in the bass, that those like nice upper harmonics. Then I'm adding like a reverb to the bass. I know it's maybe a little bit weird, but I just want to add a little bit more like space and stereo effect to it. But I'm using like a low cut filter built into this reverb in FL Studio. So I'm actually cutting away the reverb upwards to 900 Hertz. And then adding a little bit of pre-delay. That's basically because I don't want to add reverb to the low end of the bass. And then I'm adding like 47% wet, and then I'm adding a little bit of stereo separation, and then it has a decay time of 1.3, so I don't want to have like a too long reverb tail to the bass. And then I'm using the Ozone 9 imager, and this is to control the stereo field because I've added some stereo effects, and I want to make sure that this bass is sitting really well in mono. So I'm splitting up the band at around 150 Hertz, and everything below is just gonna be completely mono. It's just a subtle detail, but it can. And then lastly, just like side chaining for the bass line. Just to make it duck and pump a little bit more. And one like small detail that I'm using in Shaperbox is that I'm splitting up the frequency band. So this lower range of the sound, the bass sound, is being sidechained, but the upper range is not going to be sidechained. And that's because I want to have like those upper frequencies to push through and not be pushed all the way back by the sidechaining. So I just made a small beat idea with this bass sound. Take a listen. yeah, that's like something different that I'm not used to, but I actually like the sound of it. So yeah, I hope you enjoyed it as well. Okay guys, that's it for this video. I really hope you enjoyed it and you liked the sound that we made in Serum. If you liked the video, it means so much to me if you smash that like button or even subscribe to the channel. And don't forget to hit that notification bell so you never miss any future videos on the channel. I've also launched a Discord server for producers. It's a place where we can share our track ideas, get feedback, provide feedback. It's generally just a cool place to hang out and talk about music and stuff. And I really want you to get involved. If you want to, you can join the Discord via the link in the description down below. If you want to support this channel even further, you can go to my web shop and browse some of my Serum preset packs and sample packs. The link is also in the description down below. So I hope to see you in the next video. Take care. Peace.